Yeah,
She's
yeah,
not
no.
an object to be had, Ollie.
I mean,
Because she's mine.
you know what I mean?
Nerd On.
Hey everyone, welcome to Nerd On, the podcast you didn't need but deserve, where all levels of Christmas spirit are welcome.
Even none of it?
Yeah.
Even none of it. That's
Even none.
totally
Yeah.
fine.
There's a
because,
place-
Jews.
There's a place for the curmudgeons as well.
I'm James Caan.
Yeah,
Well,
because today's subject matter can be enjoyed even if you're not really super crazy about Christmas, because it's a really good,
Or you
funny
don't celebrate
movie
Christmas.
anyways. But we'll talk about that. What'd you say?
I said,
was like-
or you don't celebrate Christmas.
Or if you don't celebrate Christmas, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a funny movie.
It's just a funny movie.
What is it?
The movie.
So the movie that we're going to be talking about today, and it is its 15-year
Turns 15.
anniversary,
Years
which
old.
is kind of crazy to think about.
Half my life.
Holy balls.
And that is Elf,
Yeah.
directed by Jon Favreau, starring Will Ferrell,
Son of a nutcracker.
Zooey Deschanel,
Are you going to go over my listy
and her
part?
beautiful, beautiful voice. And we'll go over more of those production details in just a moment. But we're going to start with introducing ourselves. I am Ollie, one of your hosts.
I'm Caitlin.
I am Tom.
I'm Corey.
And I am Josh. And this episode is brought to you in part by our patrons over at Patreon. Yeah, we get to do so many things because of our patrons over at Patreon, like doing this show as much as we do. And the amount of growth that we continue to do is just kind of amazeballs.
It is. And we get to, we love it.
We love it. But yeah, that is the business.
Thanks, Caitlin.
It's so good and great, and it's fun.
I'm just in that mood.
So I think that would be the business. So now we get to get into the business of the show.
Yeah.
What would be the first business? We have to guess
that
That was actually a really good transition, Josh. I actually really appreciate that. That was really good. You led right into Guess That Grump. So everyone at home who's new to the show, Guess That Grump is a segment of our show where if we're allowed to rate something such as a TV show, movie, book, comic book, then it's rated out of 1 out of 5. And let's say if it's Corey, who tends to like comedies and holiday stuff, he rates it a 5. But Ali doesn't like
Anything
elves or
that's the
something
Grinch
like that.
over here.
He's a little
Yeah.
Grinch boy and rates it a 4.9. He's still the grump.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever rates the lowest becomes the grump of the week. And so me always explaining it, I'll guess who will be the grump first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to guess Chevrolet. Sorry.
He just put all of our names in one.
It's Zooey Deschanel's name, right?
J'avoue.
Jovi.
Our powers combined, we are.
I'm gonna guess Ollie.
I feel like he has become the C on the Scantron.
That's all right.
Well,
You
he's
for now.
my
For now.
my C on the sketch.
okay.
'Cause I'm kind of like, I can go either way. Like,
Yeah.
violently.
He's a wild card.
Violently.
Yeah.
Violently.
He's our wild card for sure.
Corey, who do you guess? Will be
Oh,
that
am I
guy?
next?
Yes.
Corey, have I got a guess for you? It is, I've been thinking about it all day. I definitely know who I'm going to guess.
No, he doesn't. Good stalling.
We're stalling.
Josh?
Wow.
Wow.
Is that a question mark?
No. Yes?
Josh is like a
Was that a
really,
question mark?
really
No?
bad pick for
No?
any type of grump.
Just make them statements.
Josh, who do you think will be the grump?
Okay.
Who will give it the lowest rating out of 5?
I am going to guess in the moment because I have not thought about this. I think I'm going to go with Caitlin. Just
Wow, you looked at me when you said it, and both our names start with K.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow.
wow.
It was a lot of emotion.
Wow.
So
broke
one
his
for
heart.
Yeah,
Ollie,
that's fair.
one for Josh, and one for Caitlin.
Okay.
So Ollie, who do you guess? Take your time. We don't have dead air.
How does, yeah, it's like
Everyone loves dead
facial
air.
expressions do not translate over podcast well.
They
That's
don't.
why I just kept talking.
Kind of like emojis. They never translate.
I'm squinting at Josh right now,
Give
Yeah.
them audible emotions.
but I'm going to say Tom
Okay. One for Tom.
Wow.
One across the board
Christmas
so far,
cheer.
except Corey.
Okay.
for everybody.
Yeah, sounds good.
Well, I'm gonna round it out and pick Corey.
Wow. So we all, I mean, we'll just go round robin where we find out we'll go first.
Yeah.
So everyone here has already, put down their numbers of what they're going to rate the piece of art, which is the movie. But Ollie and Caitlin, Caitlin tends to have 2 numbers, and then we have to average them out.
I know.
Ollie tends to go up in the numbers after I start talking about it for some reason. And John,
I stay the same.
he's a static character, and we'll talk a little bit about that in this episode. But everyone at home, if you're playing along, please do. And get your own numbers written down, and then tell us who you think will be the grump, or if your prediction was correct. But with that,
Initial reactions.
now it goes to the spoiler. Initial reactions of what we thought of the movie. I'll go
You're
first.
talking. You
Yeah, I'll go first. When I first watched this movie, I did not find it the gem that everyone thought it was to be. I think I caught it like. I tend to catch a lot of holiday movies at the end because I think I watched them on reruns, like on USA or some shit. And it's like literally like I was rewatching it recently, like when did I first watch this? And it's literally spoilers when Santa lands in Central Park and James Caan's just like,
Wow.
hey kid, what's this going on?
So when all the
Wow.
characters have developed, that's when you watch.
yeah. And so like I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, cool.
I don't think you can decide that. Like your initial reaction
Like,
could be decided
all
upon
the
that.
triumphs that happened in the last half of the movie meant nothing to you. You're
Well,
like, great, she's singing.
to me
Great.
it was like zany stuff, and then it was funny because like as well, like I hadn't like got introduced to Zooey Deschanel correctly or Will Ferrell, anyone correctly other than James Caan.
Okay.
And I was
and
just
even
like,
then, he's already halfway to where he needs to be at the end of the film.
I mean, James Caan's a great actor, but anyways, like I compared it a lot to like, oh, this is like this generation's Santa Claus, Tim Allen's Santa Claus, and for that, I mean,
but in reverse.
yeah, for the aesthetic and then like the production value, I was like, okay, this is cool. But then rewatching it really kind of made me think back of how I like how they connected to that old school claymation with
Yep.
the Rudolph and the
Oh,
Frosty
yeah.
and all that. So I mean, to me, initial reaction, this place has like a good place in the holiday spirit, and I think it's always be part of like your 12 days of Christmas marathon,
Yeah.
because I think it's now become a good classic film.
Yeah.
So.
For me, I at the time this came out, I was already a big Will Ferrell fan, so I was a little leaning biased when I saw it in theaters, and I think it's really difficult. Personally, I believe it's difficult to write something for a holiday because it's like a high risk that it's going to fail because people are comparing it to things they've loved since they were children.
Yeah.
So like it's always hard. Like there's not a Christmas song since Mariah Carey's Christmas that I can think has been added to that list. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it's
100%.
hard to write a classic and add it to that holiday list. And this is added to so many people is that to me, that's extremely impressive.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Initial reactions. When it first came out, so it was 2003, and
Throwback Thursday.
I initially did not want to see this movie.
Really?
And I have a stupid reason.
You like Will
Everybody
Ferrell too
else,
much.
everybody else was like, "Oh man, it's so."
Are you
so
fucking
I was
hipster?
18,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh no,
Angsty Josh?
everybody wants to see that, so I don't want to see it."
Oh.
So flash to a couple of years later, a few years later, I was working at Hollywood Video, and you know when
Hollywood
you
Video.
have to watch
Wait. Shout out to Game Crazy, R.I.P.
the cage.
Yes.
So during the holidays, we could play holiday movies, but there was a caveat. There was a list, and oftentimes the Elf was the only one that was available.
Wow.
Elf was, and so there were times that we watched it all day long. And
Oh.
so the reason why I bring this up is because at first I was like, I don't want to watch that movie. God damn it. And I watched it and I was like, God damn it, I really love this movie. And so it is one of those movies that I can watch a million times. I have literally watched it for a whole 8-hour, 9-hour shift and been like,
Still
this is
laughing at
still
parts?
laughing where it's like, oh, that is
Boy, did I pick wrong.
I feel like what you just said is like the exact opposite of any critic watching a movie. It's like, I really didn't want to like it,
Yeah.
but I like it. We're
Yeah.
all critics, and I was like, I really wanted to like it.
yeah.
Trash the movie.
So initial reactions, I fucking loved it.
What?
And scene.
Ollie Ollie smocks and free.
Ollie Ollie Christmas tree.
Well,
Hey, we'll go with that. I don't remember when. I think I saw it in theaters. I want to say, if that sounds plausible based on my age.
Then
I
I'll
think
go with
it
your
is.
story. You can say that.
Yeah.
The movies were
Like
around when
Mythbusters, that plausible just dropped.
movies were established by the time you
greatly
were that old.
plausible. Yes, yes. I had autonomy
Yes.
to go see it,
Nice.
and yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Like it's a classic like Christmas movie. I'm a big Christmas fan. It's my favorite time of year, et cetera, et cetera.
You have the Christmas spirit.
I have Christmas spirit. I like
Might not be a grump.
Christmas. I like
there will
Christmas
be.
music. I'm
it's
like the
Tom.
one
Got it.
person who likes it when the radios and department stores switch to Christmas music.
Depends
I know
what
that's-
the
We
mix
just
is and
learned-
how long the loop is.
so much about you just now.
If the loop is 30 minutes, fuck that shit.
No. So, quick story. When I worked at Starbucks, we had like
Shout
this
out.
like Muzak brand. Shout out to Muzak. They're
Music.
still out there. They would have like the Christmas loop, I think, and then they would have like you could go change it.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the year that I worked, that I remember, it was like KT Tunstall's album came out,
course.
and like
your
her
girl.
Christmas album,
her-
and I would
that's-
just
that's
like
her.
I would just do that on repeat every time, and I didn't care who around me because I was a supervisor and I didn't care who thought of what.
But,
So I
but
just-
what about
I
the
don't
red
give a
cup?
shit about
I
any
didn't.
of you. We are playing Katie Tunstall
Yes.
on loop. Bitches.
Because she has that Christmas music. So yeah, I'm just a big Christmas fan. I'm always into like decorations, stuff like that. So this just felt right at home because there's Christmas music throughout. There's Christmas decorations. It kind of straddles that line between like a almost like a kid's Christmas movie and then just like a really funny Will Ferrell comedy,
I would
which I
say
think is like a unique place
for
to be.
Will Ferrell. Is it Ferrell? Ferrell.
Feral.
Ferrell.
Feral.
This is like a family's movie.
Yeah,
Like
it's a family
I was
movie.
thinking about it, I was like, there's not a lot of cussing, if not
But
any.
it's got some, and we'll go over this later. But it's got some really genius like throwaway kind of hidden jokes
Mhm.
that I think are kind of classic.
we'll talk
and
about those.
Take it beyond that. But anyways, yeah, I liked it a lot.
Kate Rin.
Well, they do cuss a little bit.
Yeah,
very little.
yes.
They said cotton-headed ninny muggins
Yeah,
a couple times.
a couple of times actually.
MPAA did not have a good time with that.
I had to cover my cat's ears. I was like, don't listen to
Wow.
this.
Yeah, that's fair. You don't want to introduce them to anything.
But Caitlin, your initial reaction.
My initial reaction, anything with Will Ferrell in it when I was growing up, because I think I was like 13 and that.
2003.
Yeah. Yes.
That would make
yes.
you born in 1990.
Yes.
So 13 years.
Yes. Math, everyone. So when it came out, Will Ferrell was known for being kind of a loud, risque thing. That's how I remember him. So
Yeah.
seeing
this was right
movie,
before Anchorman.
Yes. Okay. Yep. That gives me a lot of information.
Yep.
I think old
Yep.
old school
Old school.
had come out.
Old school.
Yeah,
Old school was where I first saw him.
and he stole the show. Yeah.
But so seeing this was a delight in that it was something that I didn't normally get to watch. And it was funny, but it also has a lot of
Heart.
cringe.
Ah.
It has a lot of cringe, which is something that I like. I really liked the movie,
Yeah.
but it's very cringy
Is it?
also.
Like
yes.
just too sweet.
Yes. And I'll get into
And you
it a
have
little.
no soul, so I get that.
Yeah, 100%. Cold-hearted. Cold-hearted.
There's a fine line that defines like my grumpiness with her like vast void of a heart. So I mean like
It's true.
He's not wrong.
so
But-
we could discuss.
Yeah,
later about
we'll get into it a little more later, but general consensus, I like the movie.
There you
Okay.
go.
All right.
that. Now that brings us to brief synopsizes.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that was an English word.
Who would like to give it a go at?
Josh, you've watched it for 9 hours on loop.
Sure.
Quick,
Why don't you give it a
I
try?
can
quick
give it-
brief
so-
synapse.
You don't have to hit all the marks.
Okay. So the story
Sparks notice.
opens up kind of sort of our narrator, which is Buddy's dad. He's telling the story of Elf. We've got that. And then that's the end. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
And they all died.
And they
Oh.
all died. The North Pole melted. No.
Global
So
warming.
Leonardo DiCaprio made an Instagram post about it.
essentially what happened was a little baby boy in an orphanage slipped into Santa's bag of presents on Christmas Eve night, one night. Got all the way to the North Pole, and there was an elf that wanted a baby, and he took him and raised him. And so this human baby thing grew up in the North Pole,
Became Will Ferrell.
became Will Ferrell, became Buddy the Elf. Eventually, what happens is it comes out that he is a human because he's starting to realize that he doesn't fit in. He can't make toys. He's shit at all of it.
he can. He's not elf speed.
Yeah.
Right.
He
He's
can't
good-
make 1,000.
It's good for a human.
He's great
Yeah.
for a
Because
human.
doesn't he say he only made like
84.
85.
And they're like, oh, so you're only like 920 down.
Yeah.
So then he finds out the truth, finds out that his dad is living in New York, and he wants to go out and find the truth.
And he's on the naughty list.
His dad is on the naughty
Yeah.
list.
Bad.
Naughty list.
It's real bad. So he goes to New York and he finds his dad and tries to, I don't know, get
Be
into
part
his
of
life.
his life.
Be part of his life. I mean, he's fully committed. Like he's like, I love you. And he's
Love
buying,
you.
I love you. I'm singing. And then he buys him lingerie
For a special someone.
for a special someone. He does meet a special someone, by the way,
does.
at the store, GIMBLES, which is actually just Macy's.
Macy's.
But GIMBLES, he meets a special someone to my heart too, Zooey Deschanel, or Jovi. Was it Jovi?
Jovi.
Jovi.
Like jovial.
He starts to feel some special feelings. Meanwhile, he's bonding with his dad. Remind me his dad? Howard?
James Caan.
No, I know, but
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
It's
Hobbs?
James Caan. It's
Was
Sonny.
it Hobbs
It's Sonny
something?
Corleone.
It's,
Corleone. Corleone.
son of James Caan. He's kind of befriending him. He kind of gets cool points for being able to kind of take out the bullies with the snowballs, and he's really digging into the other part of the family because the mom's like, "Well, he's
Walter.
cool." Walter, there we go.
But the kid's
Howard.
name's Michael.
Yeah.
Michael. Okay, so Michael's like, "Hey, this guy's cool." When at first he was kind of a douche. He's like, "Oh no, I've never seen that guy," but he just wants to be loved. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Moral of the story.
So, well, yeah, moral of the story. As we move along, Jovi and Buddy are getting together and they're loving each other. Kind of, they're starting a little romance. Meanwhile, we're just gonna flash on down. It's Christmas Eve, and Santa has crashed into the Central Park, and we find out that it can't take off because the Clausometer, which measures the holiday spirit, the Christmas spirit, can't take off. Also, meanwhile, James Caan, Walter, has become jovial and kind of cool, and he takes off with his son because Buddy had kind of an existential crisis and kind of ran away and all this kind of stuff and ended up in Central Park, and he's there to help. But Michael, he drags his dad. His dad's like, oh, holy shit. He has kind of like a come to Jesus moment where he's like, oh, I love you, buddy. I'm sorry for everything that I said.
Let me have the Central Park police chase me instead.
Yeah. And then Jovi later on starts singing in public, which we learn she doesn't like to do, but she does that so we can get the Christmas spirit going.
Yep.
And
Power the sleigh.
everybody starts singing. It's really heartfelt and all this kind of stuff. And the sleigh starts getting its power, and then it blasts off. And we fly off. And they live happily
Christmas
ever
is
after.
saved.
Christmas is saved. But later on, we find out that they did live happily ever after.
Yeah.
Jovi and Buddy, they have a kid and live in the North Pole.
Little
and,
daughter named Susie.
Yeah.
They go back and forth and they visit home and they
Yeah.
visit.
Oh, and Buddy wrote a book based on his
Oh, yes.
story.
Buddy the elf.
Yeah, and why do I keep forgetting his name? Walter?
Walter.
Walter Hobbs.
He left his job because his last boss was kind of a dick, and he
Yep.
started his own book company, and they published
Children's
Buddy's
books.
And it's a
children's book.
fucking hit.
And it's a huge hit. So, and then
think they
credits
said that.
roll,
The
and we're
book
good.
closes.
Yeah.
Yep, book closes.
It's cute as fuck.
It's so
Boom.
cute.
Yep.
And happy.
Caitlin cringes, cries a little because it's just too happy.
Ugh. Gross.
Wow.
Good job.
Good job, Josh.
Wow.
I'm
Yeah,
proud of you.
I tried.
You did well.
That was good. That was really good. So with that, just give a little information about the movie and when it came out and all of the people that made it possible. Directed by Jon Favreau.
Who's a godsend.
Favreau.
I'm just convinced-
Favreau.
Yeah.
Like, he's the person over the last 5 years I didn't realize I love as a director. And the more I learn that he's done, I'm like, oh, he might be on my top, like, 3 favorite directors of all time.
When we write these notes and kind of talk about like what these people have done beforehand, there's literally nothing after him because we all know he pretty much started the MCU. But just to give a little bit of credence of like,
I love him as an actor too.
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
He
yeah.
started out as an actor. He started working on films with Vince Vaughn, and
Swingers,
this is
baby.
his
Swingers,
second.
yeah.
His second film, he's like feature directed. His first one was with Vince Vaughn as well. But yeah, Jon Favreau ended up doing Jungle Book. He is slated in doing Lion King by the time this episode comes out. Everyone's seen the trailer
Chef.
for that. He's done Chef, Jungle Book 2 apparently coming out.
Production.
He did the great follow up to Jumanji,
Yeah.
Zathura.
Zathura. Oh.
Screenplay by David Berenbaum, and that's written by, not screenplay and story by, but completely written by. This is the same writer that gave us Strange Magic, recently in
Okay.
2015, Spiderwick Chronicles, and a a sequel to this that's a video animated feature.
Okay.
Oh.
I did not
That's
know
it.
that.
Produced by John Berg. This was his second film. Did Meet Dave along with Todd Komansky. But John Berg, you might know that name, someone that did Wonder Woman, Justice League, and also going to do every single DC movie after that. So I'm like, oh, interesting. Todd Komansky, who did Meet Dave with John Berg, went to purely just start writing, and then recently wrote Sully, the movie with Tom Hanks that was nominated for Academy Award. Shauna Robertson, which this makes a lot more sense of how this movie came to be, of Meet the Parents 3 years prior. And then later on did Anchorman, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, Superbad, Pineapple Express,
There
and
it is.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yes.
I'm like, now
All
I
that
know.
started falling into
I'm
place.
like, now I know where this person came from.
As soon as I saw Anchorman, I was like, yep.
Cast by the ever popular Will Ferrell. Who we all know. We talked about his movie Talladega Nights, Step Bros. James Caan from Eraser, Godfather, Misery, and
Bottle Rocket.
Bottle Rocket from one of our Wes Anderson.
So
episodes.
good.
Pause this episode.
And I
now to
think the
listen to that
Las Vegas TV show.
one. Yeah,
Is that right?
100%.
Yep.
Is Zooey Deschanel?
Deschanel.
Deschanel. See, I always want to make sure I'm pronouncing it right.
Zoe.
I got introduced to her to 500 Days of Summer, but I know Corey's watched some New Girl.
Yes.
And
actually really
everyone
like
loves
New
Yes
Girl.
Man. And the greatest acting feat ever, The Happening. And then also, as Ollie would say, a dark horse into the world of nerd culture, but also an episode that we have to do,
Forgot
Hitchhiker's Guide to
the Galaxy.
which we will do.
Oh my
And then,
god.
as Josh mentioned, Papa Elf, Bob
Bob
Newhart.
Newhart.
Shout out to Bob Newhart, first of all, for just being the best person ever.
Oh man.
It's Bob
I
Newhart.
love him.
Who recently
was
got an Emmy
perfect.
win for Big Bang Theory, being a professor, and
Oh.
as the voice of Bernard in Rescuers 1 and 2.
What?
Bernard.
It's
He-
Bob
there's this
Newhart. If
famous-
you look him up.
I think
mean,
it's Mad TV. He did this sketch on Mad TV where he's a therapist, and his whole thing is like one of the people would come in. They'd be like, "Yeah, I have trouble. I have a fear of claustrophobia. I feel like I'm afraid I'm gonna get trapped in a box." And his whole thing would be like, "Okay, just one thing then. Stop it." And they're like, "Excuse me." He's like, "Stop it, or I'll put you in a box." And he's just like, "That's the whole therapy session. Is he would just yell at you
That's
to
really
stop
good.
it."
Fear
And just
tactics.
seeing Bob
He's-
Newhart yell
he's
is the
hilarious.
best thing.
Anytime you get to see him in sketch comedy. Skit comedy. It's a
It's the same
it's a
thing.
thing.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Music by John Debney, who did Cutthroat Island, which, if you guys don't know, is a critically panned, terrible movie, quote unquote, by critics. But
I thought you were going to be excited because it was good.
No, but the
No,
score.
I loved it.
The score apparently is like phenomenal. The score, like music, like people who do film theory and music and sound are like the score to this movie, regardless of how you feel about the movie,
is
is
it called?
without a doubt
Cutthroat Island.
Cutthroat Island. Gina Davis.
It's a terrible movie. It's a terrible movie,
But I heard
but
the
I
music-
love it.
I never
and the
watched
music
it.
is great. It's
We'll get there. We'll get there.
late 90s, early 2000s.
Most also notably got Academy nomination for Passion of the Christ, Mel Gibson, but also did the music for Inspector Gadget live action, Jetsons the movie, Hanna-Barbera production, Jungle Book, and other Favreau films. After
Oh
that.
wow.
Distributed by Warner Brothers / New Line Media, New Line Cinema. Released November 7th, so we're like a month behind, but for some reason it's Christmas time, so everyone's now thinking like now's the time to celebrate it because it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
2003, 97 minutes runtime, 33 million for budget, with a whopping 220.4 million.
It made
33.
so much money back. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
Sits at Rotten Tomatoes at 83%.
That's so
which
And
good.
I just want to give a shout out to whoever stopped them trying to push a sequel. Like, thank you for not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Making
that
a
would have
sequel
been
to this.
awful.
Which it was funny when Corey you were talking about like it's hard to make a new classic. And I think that's 100% right. But the thing is like a lot of holiday movies and a lot of holiday music comes out
Yeah.
because they know they're gonna sell.
Right.
And that's the thing. It's like you can sell, but can you make a classic?
But it won't last. It's like
Exactly.
that year.
Yeah.
And then you're like done.
'Cause-
It's like-
and I mean, most musicians have like a holiday album.
You get Elf or you Pineapple Express.
Yeah. Right.
Well,
Hey,
Or not Pineapple Express.
hey.
That's not what I meant to say. I love Pineapple Express. What am I thinking of? I can't even see. I can't remember.
I don't even
remember
know.
it.
So bad.
The CGI
You see?
one.
You see? Now I
No,
can't even.
no.
think.
Express.
get out of here.
What is it?
Get
Polar
out- you're-
Express.
Polar Express.
No.
Where Tom Hanks plays 5 characters.
Yes.
Oh,
I thought you were talking about Sausage Party. I was like, don't you dare.
yeah.
Don't you dare. Anyways,
You do it.
that's all the information that you could just Google it yourself. But, you know, it's kind of a good place for us to talk about, you know, how the film was when it came out and how well it did and, you know, how
It's
it holds
still
place
yeah.
How
in
it-
people's
yeah.
hearts.
It's still doing well. Like I'll go on social media and just see people posting about how they're watching Elf tonight, or like
Yep.
posting their
I-
Instagram stories or just clips of Elf, and you're
I've
like,
seen so many
Yeah.
people doing the same thing. They're like, "Yep, it's time. Watch an elf."
Well, the funny thing, like when Corey, I think Corey is the one that suggested like to do this episode. The first memory or the first thing that came to my mind was actually throwback to Josh and Corey and my old job. Someone that we worked with, her name is Kim.
oh yeah,
She fucking
Shout out to
loves
Kim.
Will Ferrell and loves Elf, and I'm just like, why do you love this movie so
Well,
much?
I
There's
think
a
you
little wrong with
kinda-
you.
no,
No, I think you
Everything
answered
right.
your own question. I think this sits in a unique place where, like, if you watch like any of the other classic movies, like Christmas Story or whatever, like it's like a little bit older, right? You're not as
Miracle on
familiar with
34th.
it.
even
I
the
think
remake.
this one sits in an interesting place where it's like it's Will Ferrell. It's like kind of like this generation's classic.
Are you
the
saying like it
modern-
brings two kind of people together? Like
Yeah.
it's either a holiday movie or it can be a Will Ferrell movie.
There's
Well, no,
touching
I mean,
moments
like,
and then there's
it's-
silly moments.
I think it's something that we can call like our holiday movie.
Oh,
Because
yes.
of our generation, like having Will Ferrell as the comedian, and, like
Yeah.
being the person, like Christmas Story. What is it, like 70s or something?
Don't look at me.
But it's
80s.
harkening back to that
It's 80s.
That's your
80s.
John
claymation
generation.
So-
movies.
Well, I mean,
I'm kidding.
yeah,
I get what you're saying.
you know what I mean.
Like our parents grew up with a specific holiday movie.
Yeah.
And this is the one we've grown
This is
up
the
with.
one
Then we're
we're
gonna tell
growing
our
up
kids about. Like you got to watch the one
Exactly.
from my day.
exactly.
Mine's gonna be Home Alone.
And then we're gonna have theirs, which is like
83
National
by the
Jonas
way.
Brothers
Christmas
or something. I
Vacation.
don't know.
Ollie?
The Jonas Brothers.
It's 83.
83, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little like I wasn't born yet, so it's not like my generation of
yeah.
whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I guess that could bring us to our
Favorite
parts.
parts. I have so many.
There's a lot.
So like here's to give you a setup of how much I love Will Ferrell. I saw Anchorman in theaters 6 times.
Oh my god.
Ooh, someone had money.
I didn't, but I've convinced my mom to go with me.
Someone went movie
So I saw it with my
hopping.
friends, and then I convinced my mom to go, and my dad to go separate, and then like my bio dad separately from that, and then my grandparents, and then with friends again.
Somebody's
Wow.
manipulative.
Resourceful.
I think it was that I wouldn't stop quoting it till they saw it, and they were just
Oh,
like,
okay.
"Fine, we'll go," and I was like, "Yes."
That's another movie that I.
So for me, it's a lot of favorite parts, and it's a lot of just like what some people may find annoying about Will Ferrell that I love. Like Will Ferrell can be described as the loud funny man.
Yes.
Like him screaming when he gets his finger pricked for the blood test
Yeah.
is one of the fun. Like it caught me so off guard rewatching it for this episode. Both times.
It's funny you can see.
Really?
James
Both times I
Caan break.
rewatched it for this, like he's just like talking off to the side, then he's just like ah, and like it's just this blood curdling scream. Or when he announces that Santa's coming, and he just like loses his whole body shakes. He's like Santa.
That dentist or the doctor scene, you
With
can
Jon
see
Favreau?
James Caan break.
Oh.
Can you?
Character.
Oh my god!
If you really see it, you can see him kind of like because
After he
I
screams,
was reading that he was so committed to being like the straight guy. This is the comedy of it.
The hard
Yeah.
ass.
it
This
has
is the
to.
hard
You have
ass,
to.
and
Laurel and Hardy style.
Will Ferrell broke him. Then
Nice.
He
That's
was
awesome.
like,
I'm gonna go back and watch it tonight, just cause.
Well, it's funny when you talk about that, how Will Ferrell, I feel like this is the trademarked Will Ferrell, acting pieces, right?
Yeah.
Like these are
Like
the,
the only truer form of Will Ferrell is Anchorman.
but what I mean to say is that like he kind of created the way, like, and I would kind of say like how Jon Favreau and Joss Whedon kind of molded like how the MCU would be.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Of course, I got to
yeah.
bring comic books on this.
Of
And
course.
everyone
Of course.
tries to just kind of emulate it. And
Yeah.
so I would say
Are
like
you
a
saying
lot.
like he changed comedy for a while? Yeah.
He directed where a lot of people are like, that's what's gonna sell.
When Anchorman came out, that changed the comedy scene.
Yeah, and
so
we've talked about it before where like I feel like people do the thing what Will Ferrell does, he does it in such a way where it's like it's good, and anything other than that is to me I think it's a really cop out. It's very like it's just adults acting like children.
yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Well, he commits.
But the
He
thing is-
commits
but-
all the
yeah.
way.
he
Yeah.
commits all the way, but also we've talked about it on a previous episode of how his whole body is still an instrument.
Yeah.
And some people just want to use their head. They
Yeah.
just want to talk and be an asshole.
When
Yeah.
he eats the cotton balls in the doctor's office.
And he's
He's
doing
so
the magic
committed
trick
to
with
it.
James Caan. Oh, and he like pulls it out from his ear and eats it anyway.
And he
Oh
just
my
has
God.
no idea.
Yeah.
He's
I
just
think-
like,
well-
this is fun.
I think he's the only person that could pull that role off.
No.
I can't even think of anybody.
You say
else.
no?
No.
Who else?
Wow.
Well, remember what? Okay,
Wow,
so before
what a
the
bold
episode
statement.
started, I did the like, what if we were to pitch this movie now?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, think of Paddington meets Thor with the Christmas spin on it, because it's the fish out of water comedy.
It is, but I agree with Ali that he's the only one who could pull off something like
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 this.
that jovial, that happy. Like,
Right.
I agree.
And
As
like
a- as a
for him to
comedian, out of
have
our
like
comedians.
that scene with the little girl in the waiting room,
Yeah.
That was,
like-
that was a really cute
it's
scene.
so
actually.
adorable
Yeah, it was
and
a really
like
cute scene.
it's so wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of
And it just
interesting.
works.
It's interesting to think that Jim Carrey was attached at one point
Was he?
in the early 90s when the script was
Really?
first like
Oh, okay.
being
That
developed.
that wouldn't. I love Jim Carrey too.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been the same.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
It
it?
would be a
Yeah.
different kind of like
It'd
he
be
commits
different.
as well, but it
Yeah.
would be a
It'd
completely
be a little
different movie.
leaning more towards Ace Ventura type of like
Yeah.
overacting a little bit
Yeah.
more. Not to say that Will Ferrell isn't overacting in this, but
It's unique in the way, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a ton of favorite parts. I named a few of my favorite lines
World's
earlier.
best coffee.
The world's best coffee gets me every time. Like the
You did
you
it.
did it. I'm so great to be here. Like that. Just his. There's a bunch of one-liners he has that like the I saw a dog. Guess what? So guess what? I saw a dog today. Like these
Have
are
you
the
seen a
things
dog
that
before?
I think and I don't say. Like I do say that to my wife. I get home. I go, guess what? I saw a dog today, and like so I relate to those little things here and there. But I mean, we could spin around. I have a whole one. Like the whole entire scene when he's scared of the radiator kills me.
Yes,
All right.
Making this sound.
And he's like,
yeah.
okay, Dad, I love you. I'll call you in 5 minutes. And he's like, no, don't call me in
Please.
Favorite parts. I think I realized doing research and doing this this time, I realized that my very favorite part is the fucking Central Park police.
Oh,
The four horsemen of
Yeah.
death.
Yeah.
Like of the apocalypse. Like it just cracks me up so
The
much. 'cause-
Central Park Rangers.
Yeah,
It
I put them
felt
on
like
the
Oh,
the-
naughty
yeah. Also,
list.
Ed Asner.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Can give a shout out.
I mean, come on. The next one would be you sit on a throne of lies.
It's the meme this year too.
Yeah.
A lot of people use that one.
there aren't many moments that made me like laugh
Guffaw.
out
Haha,
loud,
tee-hee.
but you sit on a throne of lies got me so hard I had to pause it.
Oh, and you and I, Kaylin, bonded over this line that when his dad's phone rings and he answered, he's like, Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? Like that. I want to start answering the phone that way. Corey's phone, what's your favorite color? He's like, red. Cool. What's up? Like that's,
The conversation can't go on until it's like,
yeah.
I asked you a question.
Hello? Yeah, what's your favorite color?
Oh, it's
I don't have a
purple.
favorite color. All right, bye. I think that's how I'm gonna start.
Even when we call you.
Telemarketers, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get ready for it, guys.
Yeah.
It's happening.
I like it's a very small scene, but it's when he's getting drunk in the mailroom.
Yes.
And the
yes.
fucking
Oh, no.
that when they're lying on the thing and the guy's like, I'm 26 years old and I got nothing to show for it. And you know that
Yeah.
that guy is not
100%.
26 years old, but it makes me laugh
100%.
because it's just like that's a visual joke for me. It just makes me
Well,
laugh.
in my mind, it was very much like, oh, this is what happens when you work in the mailroom. You look 20, you're 26, and this is what happens. I'm like, God. But I love it's like, no one ever listens to me. I was like,
Yeah.
like I sympathize with them. I was like, I get
maple
it.
syrup.
But it's like I've seen so many of the manliest men who get like sad, emotional drunk, and I'm just like, oh, I know like 12 of you. It's like, oh, it's so good. It's
my
so
last
good.
my last thing will be I'm gonna admit something. This
I'm
movie
ready.
makes
I'm
me
listening.
cry every single time.
Aw.
What? Why?
Even though I know that it's coming, like just because I used to be kind of a Grinch about Christmas, and
And then he passed that throne to me.
That's fair.
And because I didn't have very anyway.
Not now, Arctic Puffin.
But every time like the Christmas spirit is like
The-
reawakened
the-
and
Oh.
like when
Sleigh starts
Clausometer.
James Caan's character starts singing
For
I'm just
real
like,
singing.
oh God, it's so beautiful.
I don't know why, but I have to cry.
I love the cheese factor, the cringe factor about it. Like it's just so sweet. Maybe I'm not talking about this or something, but it's cringy, but I love it. Like the moment, like when they're on their date, like and he kisses her cheek
Oh,
and she goes,
that's
"You
great.
missed."
You missed.
Like it just makes me go, "Oh, I'm gonna give it to Ollie. You take it."
Are you talking more about the fish out of water situations where it's awkward?
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
okay.
I think
awkward quinge is
the
what
reason I
gets
don't
me
think
more.
it's cringy to me is because he doesn't know or care.
Right.
So there's this wonderful like he wins every time. Even
Yeah,
when people
of
think
course.
he's an idiot, he's like, whatever, I'm happy and I
Well,
love everything.
I think the big thing that really leads a good idea of how he's gonna experience the world is when he gets hit by the taxi.
Yeah.
And he pops up, sorry.
Yeah.
And it's
So
like,
sorry.
I was like, he says sorry, and then after that, on the date, he says,
The yellow ones
Yeah,
don't
"The ones
stop.
don't stop." And I was
Yeah.
like, the good thing is, no matter what, he's learning and he appreciates everything.
Yeah.
And he's always at fault.
Oh my god, when he wakes up in the window and he sees his dad,
Yeah.
he's like banging,
Dad?
Dad!
Dad?
Okay.
Dad!
Okay, can we talk about that real quick? Because I literally paused the movie recently watching it. And I was just like, I'm going to put on fucking Gone Girl music right now and play this same sequence without the audio.
Oh no.
It is the darkest thing to
I was
see your
thinking
child.
that as well. I was like, if you take the audio out,
Oh my
this
God.
would be so sad.
It's the darkest
Didn't
thing
someone
ever.
edit it into
A thriller.
A thriller?
They did the
Yeah.
trailer of a thriller. But I'm just
Oh.
saying this part is
I
a very
wonder-
sad moment.
That must be why they threw the Christmas music behind it.
Of course. Of course. You know, it starts to swell at a certain
Yeah.
area, Ollie, you know, the way you like it.
Oh yeah,
Just the way Ollie likes it.
just the way I like it. And speaking of things I like, there was one when I watched this again in preparation for this, there was one line that I had never picked up on, or maybe I did, but like it kind of I wasn't as amazed by it or something.
You
but
missed?
it made me like have to stop the movie, rewind, watch it again, and then pause and laugh for a little bit, and then continue. And it's when when it's already crashed in Central Park, and it's the newscaster.
yes.
Oh yeah.
And I forget the actor's name because he looked familiar, but he's like, "Tell me more about what you saw," and then
Oh
he's
my
like
God, yes!
complimenting her the whole like in
But it's
between.
flawless.
But it's
Do you have the
can't-
line there?
I have the one line that made me actually stop it because I loved the entire
And how he
thing.
delivers it is
and
the
at
whole
the
thing.
end, she's like, "Can you tell me a little more about
Yes,
what you
yes!
saw?" And he's like, "Yeah. Your eyes tell the whole story. That's what I love about you. You got a great mouth." And then he goes out and tells about what's going
But he
on.
doesn't stop. He's
But
like,
he doesn't stop.
your eyes tell the story. That's what I love about you. You have a great mouth. The sleigh was coming down
Yeah.
from the side. And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Actually, what
Thank you
else?
for mentioning that because I had to pause and rewind that too this year.
I had to find that quote, but
I was
yeah.
playing games, watching it the second time,
Yeah.
and I was with Tasty D Money, and he heard it over the mic, and he was like, "Whoa!" And I was like, "I know, it's so good."
I will
Actually,
say-
during the same scene, the interchange that's going between the studio and the thing, it just cracks me up because the
Yeah.
studio's like, and that's what real news is like.
Well, then he was like before that. He's like, sorry to interrupt your first big news story or whatever.
yeah, it's all the like little
wow.
things that you're
Yeah.
like, and I didn't catch those before, strangely, and I
Yeah.
watched it again, and I was like, oh my God, there's stuff going on in the background that I didn't even
Yeah,
catch last time.
that's the stuff that I appreciate the most is when those little jokes are kind of hidden back there for you to
I'm
find.
gonna
But
engagement ring from Tiffany's, and for your boyfriend to just commit already.
Stop dragging his feet.
Stop dragging his feet and commit already. What were you saying, Caitlin?
Favorite parts.
Oh man. Eating the spaghetti.
oh,
Like when he made breakfast for everybody, and she's like, "Oh, thank you so much." Oh, no.
That's enough.
I would try that.
I'll try it.
And then
I've heard mac and cheese with syrup is good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna erase that from my mind forever. But
Hey,
so that
all levels of food is welcome here.
That actor's
Not
name's
that.
Matt Walsh, by the way.
Matt
and
Walsh.
He's in like The Hangover, Ted. If you
He's
look him
kind
up,
of like
you'll
a-
recognize his
okay,
face.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
But the breakfast.
the breakfast scene, but the scene that like got me, like the feels got me,
Yeah.
was when everybody was singing and they were like panning different shots of everybody singing all together, like
Yeah.
any of those, like everybody is now committing to this like feeling of warmth Not necessarily like the dad. The dad didn't get me as much, but it's like the whole group of people being like, you know what, we're gonna not care that we're like we would otherwise be embarrassed to sing by ourselves, and we're gonna do it all together because they're all in it.
After like the mom does it, and then random people start joining in, and they all start.
Yeah, and in the bar they're all singing together. Like those are the things.
He wants a gift certificate to Burke Williams. Oh, that must be a different guy.
I felt so bad for him. I was like, no, you go have a great spa day. Don't let anyone tell you how to feel.
Yourself.
Yeah, go get your nails done. Do whatever you want.
That reminds me of my other like favorite parts.
What is it?
Or multiple parts. Anytime Zooey Deschanel singing.
Oh yeah.
I have
because Zooey Deschanel.
I'll save it from my qualms.
Okay.
Unrelated qualms,
sorry.
but they're qualms.
No, I don't share as much love for Zooey Deschanel.
That's okay. You don't have to.
Why?
It's mine.
She
girlfriend.
just.
She's not yours. She's mine.
That's fair.
Oh, it's because you have no soul. No, I get it.
Yeah,
She's not an object to be had, Ollie.
I mean,
Wow.
Because she's mine.
you know what I mean?
She's mine.
Wow.
But then again, why shouldn't I?
You know how we were talking about with the Grindelwald episode that Tina feels very kind of flat?
Mm-hmm.
Zooey Deschanel is that to me. Like she seems very flat, and in this she seems very flat, but it complements Buddy. Yes, Josh. He raised his hand.
Here's the thing.
What happened was
I pulled an Ollie. Here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
Actors do things.
Yes.
That's just what they do. Meaning like, oh, that's Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
As Seth Rogen doing Seth Rogen.
Tracy Morgan
And
being
this-
Tracy Morgan.
And so Zoe, in my mind, that's kind of her thing. Very rarely, I think, do you find an actor that you're like, oh shit, I just totally forgot that I was watching this person in this.
AKA Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
You're like, oh shit, I forgot. There's very few actors that I can say that you go, oh shit, I forgot that that's this person.
You don't
There are
say, I
some-
forgot that's Jason Statham.
You're like, oh, that's
right.
Zoe.
Fair. That's 100% on that one.
Shut your mouth.
Hey, no, I love that man.
In the Meg, he's the
Hey,
fucking shit.
hey, that man could do a lot of things to me. I'd be okay with that. But
wow.
like, I'm just
Before the Germans get here.
That's kind of her shtick. Is the sort of like awkward,
Kind of the
quiet.
indie kind of like.
Yeah.
I
anyway.
mean, I'll
Quirky.
speak to that too. Of like how like there's sometimes she play like she seems like she's flat, but it's for effect.
Yeah.
And it's like it's so that it can be. It's kind of like almost like how what's his face? Someone.
Oh, I know what's his face.
Well, they were like kind of talking about Patrick from SpongeBob.
Yeah.
That he's kind of like a mush.
Yeah.
That you can't build him up, but you also can't break him down.
Yeah.
And so like any other character does really well with it.
Mhm.
So like that character could kind of just be like almost like the logic,
Mm-hmm.
but also like this is what you have to compare as the status quo.
Yeah.
Because she is pretty normal.
Well, I always think that she's like the straight man, or James Caan is a straight man.
She's a normal person in this scenario.
I would say.
Yeah.
Because she likes to sing, doesn't like to sing out loud, works
Mm-hmm.
at a retail place, has to do her job, doesn't want to like socialize with a lot of people during holidays
Yep.
who are alone, eats noodles, watching the news by herself. Her power to her water gets shut off. So where's she go? She goes to work.
Yeah, early.
Did you
I
see her
mean,
as one of the out of the kooky characters?
Yeah. I
Or
saw
the intention was she was supposed to be a kooky character?
I saw her as like I saw her doing the quote unquote normal people things, but I saw her as more of like an oddball, which is why she worked well with Buddy. That like because she was so quirky and kind of kept to herself and all of that stuff, and she has her very like she has a pretty singular life from the looks of things.
Yeah.
So she's just kind of like running in this track all by herself. And then meeting Buddy was like, oh, like
She didn't write him off.
yeah, she didn't write him off because she's like, oh, you're weird like me. Like you're your own world, like I am my own world.
The way I saw it was that James Caan is the comedy straight man, and she's kind of supposed to be playing the audience in the sense of like how we would think we would want to react if we ever met someone like Buddy. Where
Yeah.
we have our own things that we do, and here's someone who kind of appreciates those unique things about us, and so we're drawn to them and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. That's how I never saw it as an oddball, but I thought it was someone who the audience is supposed to relate to a little more. So like she's the middle ground between James Caan and Buddy. She's supposed to be like, oh yeah, we all have our little quirks, and like we don't like to share, like she doesn't like to sing in front of people. Sometimes
Yeah.
we don't like to share those kind of things. And
But she doesn't mind being spontaneous and like,
Right.
oh yeah, let's go
that's
this
how
way.
I always
Go
viewed that, I guess.
ice skate. I'll show you Rockefeller. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But any other favorite parts, Caitlin?
I
When
liked him
he-
hugging
when-
the raccoon. Oh, go ahead. I thought you were done.
Oh,
Sorry.
when he redecorates the entire store in a night,
Oh,
and
yeah.
the manager is like, "Somebody's gunning for my job. So
this
if I
is
find out who
corporate.
it was,
If you know anything, hit my walkie-talkie.
We're a
Channel
team.
3.
because if I go, we all go."
yeah.
Like that was great.
How'd you sleep? Great. I got a whole 40 minutes.
40 minutes.
And I built that rocking chair. Or
Yeah.
the rocker.
The rocker. What is he made out of? And you see the cut to.
Yeah.
My favorite parts, I think, are any of James Caan's reactions.
Yeah.
Because to me, I think I'm like him. I'm like, yeah, if someone was like this, grown ass man, tuck me in. Fuck no. I'm not tucking your ass in. You're a grown ass man. Put your feet underneath that blanket. Anyways, but like, also, I loved the manager.
Yeah.
Faison
Oh.
Love.
Yeah.
Because,
great.
Because
No,
it's
it's
like,
not.
this is North Pole. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it, and it goes on. I'm like, okay. And like, he also does comedy, right? He's a comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen some of his comedy. I'm just like,
He's funny.
I like
He's
him a lot.
really good.
Um,
There's no singing in the North Pole.
No.
Yes, there is. No,
no,
there
it's
isn't.
not. No, it's not. And
Yeah.
I was like, that like I remember I don't know. I remember being like that for a lot of
But
things.
he also
like,
is
stop.
able to, when he thinks it's bad and they like compliment it, he's like, oh, of course. Yeah. It's all good.
But
It's all
also,
good.
my boy. I mean, he also gets Buddy in jail, but he also defends him when Santa starts beating the shit out of him.
What?
When the fake Santa,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
starts fighting,
Yeah.
he just like tackles him down. I was like, what a gangster.
Yeah.
I thought he was doing that because he messed up the Legos.
Oh yeah. Well,
And that was
Artie-
like
Artie
his
Lang.
breaking point.
we'll
Yeah.
still-
Shout out to Artie Lang.
I liked there's it's not a part, but it's a facet. I like the sleigh. And I
Yeah.
like the lore
Oh,
behind
yeah.
the sleigh, like this creation of the fact that the sleigh used to run on Christmas spirit, but now has to run on turbines,
Yeah.
which makes me question. I want to bring this up to you guys. We're gonna do a little dive down. Has anyone watched Clash of the Titans?
Nope.
Yeah.
Like the remake or the old one?
Regardless, they have a little of a
There's two?
similar
Okay.
Yeah.
sense.
There's
the
a like
the gods,
1970s version.
the gods are losing their powers because people stop believing in them.
Yeah.
Stop praying to them.
So Santa's a god?
And I'm saying, is Santa a fucking god?
I think
in
there
the
are
past?
other stories.
actually, I don't know
stories
why
that have.
some-
Have you
something
seen the movie where like it's the Easter Bunny and Jack Frost and
yeah,
Santa?
Yeah, the Guardians.
Essentially, they are deities.
I got
They're-
that feeling too. This last time I watched it, I was like,
Well, I just
Santa
like
can
that
be
they
God.
brought that in there, you know?
Wow,
Yeah.
we just made the lore so much deeper.
I
Yeah.
was thinking more like Peter Pan with Tinkerbell.
Because I always like
Clap if you
I can see
believe.
that, yeah.
I always
Yeah.
love movies when like holiday movies like Santa Claus when they kind of like explore like, oh, this is how he goes down a chimney.
Yeah.
This is how he does that. This is how the sleigh works. And like this one's like the reindeers still work, but it's like they run off the
because there was no mention of him being replaced, but then he's like a normal dude, so he kind of, I think it felt like he was
So
like
before him, it was Tim
thousands of
Allen.
years old.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But you know who also I'm just gonna say who also runs on Power of Belief? Freddy fucking Krueger.
Oh, there you go.
So
Yeah. So Santa is
is a
Freddy
nightmare.
Krueger.
Yeah, Freddy Krueger's a god.
Yeah.
Everybody's just
um,
lucky that he enslaves elves to make toys and breaks
Yeah.
into your house to give you stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, and speaking of A Christmas Story, shout out to Peter Billingsley for making a little cameo
Did he?
in this. He is Ming Ming.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Who's Ming Ming?
I didn't even like.
He was
put
the
that two
beginning
together,
elf
the
that
beginning
was kind of the
elf, first one,
supervisor.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's Peter Billingsley from A Christmas Story. Are you going to tell me you
my
haven't seen that?
Of course she has.
TCM shows it for 24 hours straight every year.
I've probably seen it.
I'm just kidding.
The only fun fact I knew is that Maurice LaMarche is the burp,
the burp.
who is Brain from Pinky and the Brain,
Burp.
Oh, that
and
makes
like
sense.
anything
When he
Warner
does that
Brothers.
12-second long burp.
Oh,
That's
that's,
a voiceover.
Maurice LaMarche.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I was reading about that too, and he was like, I just learned how to, it's not a real burp. It's just he had
Swallow
figured
air.
out how to shape his mouth to create this like
Echo.
That's awesome.
chamber,
Oh wow.
and the way that he would roll air through that. He was like, it's the weirdest thing, but it sounds like a burp.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spend the entire car ride home trying to
Sounds
learn
like
how to do
that
that.
Just a-
That sounds like throat. That sounds like throat singing.
Tube and
Yeah.
throat singing. Yeah.
I really liked any of the parts with the claymation
yeah.
Yeah.
because I'm like it just brings it back to that.
That's what
Arctic
that's
Puffin.
kind of what I was saying about it straddling the line between like a Will Ferrell comedy and like an old like classic.
Were you able to,
Christmas story.
have your suspension of disbelief? I mean,
No, but I didn't need it. That was the point, because it was like claymation, like little dudes, and then like obvious set, and I
Shout
loved
out to
I ate
Liam
all that
Redbone
stuff up.
as well.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Um,
That always makes me happy.
and one last favorite part is Christmas movies. I do enjoy the fact that they use licensed songs.
yeah.
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 Like all the licensed
Yeah.
songs, and
You
some of
have
them are
to.
classics. And like some people just want to make a score and just have the jingles in the back. And it's like, it's a Christmas song. So
That's fair.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh my
Josh?
dude, I didn't even recognize him. I'm
Who?
looking at Peter
The snowman?
Billingsley now.
No,
No,
just
Peter Billingsley. Like, wow.
Did I just blow your mind?
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm gonna use that what you just said about music and roll it on into qualms.
Uh-oh.
No, this is a totally unrelated to movie. Really, kind of it
That's
is
okay.
in a way. Am I the only one who thinks that the "Baby It's Cold Outside" song is incredibly creepy?
Well, I can debunk that for you.
Yeah.
It's meant
Please
to
do
be.
it.
It was written by a couple as a satire.
Oh.
It used to be this couple who would sing songs at parties and whatever, and the whole song is supposed to be a joke about
Well.
exactly what you think it is. And
Yeah.
this husband and wife duo would do this, and she would like be by the piano pretending she was like, "What's in this drink?" kind of thing, and everyone would laugh and ha ha ha, and then people started taking it really seriously. So like, yes, it is creepy, but the original meaning behind it was to be funny.
Cool.
So there you go.
Wow.
Fun fact.
So it's like Ring Around the Rosie.
No,
No.
because that was not meant to be funny.
Well, it's not meant to be funny, but also it's like people. I think
Once you find
I feel
out
like
the hidden
kids sing
meaning.
it in joy when it's
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah.
this is a terrible song.
But it is, but people lost the satire behind it.
Okay.
That's all.
But it's also a very old song.
yeah,
It's been around for a while, so
No, I
of
know.
course it
That's
would
the
lose.
that's the one she sings in the shower,
yeah,
Yeah.
which works perfectly for that scene.
yeah.
Oh, which is also another
Fair.
favorite part when he closes his eyes and runs straight to the locker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I do like the slapstick and the beat downs and all the little small montage cutaway stuff.
Yeah.
I will say, like, getting hit by the taxi is amazing.
Like,
It looks so good.
yeah. The escalator.
Yeah.
But-
Oh my god. Yeah. And you
Oh,
hear the
the
tights
escalator.
rip.
Yeah. But going back to qualms,
Mhm.
I have qualm. And it's sad because I feel like it's kind of one of your favorite parts.
Yeah.
I've now watching as an adult, I think it was really, it just doesn't sit well with me because I think it's a little dumb. The fact that the Central Park Police were the antagonists. I was just like,
Why?
Wow. Because
Why?
it was so cool. It was shot.
They were on the
so-
naughty list.
It was shot so well. It looked like
think I
fucking.
know why.
It was shot looking like fucking ring wraiths. Which I
Yes.
was like, this is gangster as fuck.
Is it because they're just brought in?
They're
Like,
just brought in, like, and then the
Yeah.
whole
if they had been introduced earlier, maybe.
and
Like,
the whole like sleigh thing, right? So let's talk about the sleigh. I love the sleigh, but let's also think that this sleigh needs to run on only like fucking 30 people's cheer.
That's all it takes.
well, it's
That's
also
a lot of Christmas
broadcasted
spirit.
on live television in New York.
That
One of-
shows only
one
on
of-
New York one,
which is the most highly densely populated
not
city
on
in the United States.
not in the world, not I'm just saying like this sleigh. If the entire world ended and only New York was around, the sleigh would still run.
Well, news would get around and people would be like, okay, there's this thing going on in New York, so it wouldn't just be
Maybe
the
it's like
New
an
York
area
one.
of effect.
It would
We're
go
filling
out.
in the hole. We're
The
filling in the hole.
AOE.
The
Yeah,
AOE,
the
on
AOE.
Christmas cheer.
The AOE on Christmas
sleigh that runs on cheer.
And so my whole thing.
Where do we draw the
Where do
line?
you draw the line?
My whole thing was kind of like it felt very like circumstantial.
Mhm.
Like here's the villain, or here's this added drama.
Could I also argue that we only see one of the news stations that's covering it? And there could be CNN, which
The
is a national
filmmaker
news.
decided that was
Yeah,
the
that's what I
only
was
one to show.
thinking.
Maybe because that was the only.
But also,
interesting
it's
news
super
anchor.
convenient that the sleigh happened to be falling the moment Buddy was like thinking about life on a bridge.
Okay,
and crashed.
I hate this argument about movies.
What?
Because if there was no coincidence in any movie, every movie would be so fucking boring.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I would
no.
say
I just-
That's my qualm.
No.
Is that argument?
That,
No. I
your
don't-
qualm is
I don't-
my
I don't-
qualm.
Because it makes a better story.
I don't have that
Right.
qualm too. I don't have that qualm of like it seems coincidental.
I'm
but
not saying it's a qualm. I'm not saying that is my qualm. I am
yeah.
saying that you saying that it's coincidental
Oh, yeah.
is
No,
what
no, no.
I question.
I would
Yeah, I get that.
To
I
me,
agree
it's
with
not
that.
coincidental. It's like, let's wrap it up, because it felt very like we have to show a quantitative feeling or moment that
Yeah.
like Buddy, because this is a no arc character, and I like that. The true arc is everyone else around him.
Yeah.
Like Buddy is good, true, blah blah blah.
Kill him with kindness.
And the people at the bar, the people at the coffee shop, the
Or with
people
knives.
at the mail room, or the fucking assholes who are writing the book all sing. They all get holiday cheer when they see Buddy. And I love that. But then it was kind of like, I see it. I saw it happening before my eyes. I'm like,
I sees you.
How are they going to show that? How are they going to show that he has a substantial reason to be there? Or the one thing I like the most is the fact that Santa Claus did the fucking Rudolph thing. Will you help my sleigh tonight thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool. He's a human child who found his father, and he's recognized as an elf.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's all they needed, other than like, we need to
I don't
have
think it
people
was meant to
singing.
be seen. This is just my view of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And when we're coming to the Four Horsemen, because it is one of my favorite parts, it's so ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
The way it's shot, like no part of the movie is like that, where it's dramatically funny, where it's like, I put them on the naughty list, and they never, it's one of those things that it's
a
like
zany thing.
It's
yeah.
like the director went, don't take it seriously.
I don't really see them as the antagonists necessarily.
They were to me the complication at the moment. They were
Yeah.
they were there to drive stakes.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, whatever.
Give
But
them
I
a
was like,
sense of urgency.
but also like everyone there is going to find out anyways. Like you didn't need to like have it. You could have had people just slowly encompass the area. But also it's like it plays it really quick and loose.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Santa's a secret, so we can't find out. But also look at his fucking book with all these nice. Oh, but also Central Park people are gonna what? So they're going to get Santa and then put him in prison. Look what happened to Buddy when he was in prison. Fucking got bailed out.
By his rich ass dad.
By his rich ass dad.
Santa doesn't have a rich ass dad. But so my question then, would it have been better if maybe do you remember Santa's telling him about New York in the earlier part? Would it have been good if he was like, and stay away from Central Park? Kind of like plant the seed
Something
then
like
so that
that,
it's
yeah.
not just suddenly like,
Something.
oh, by the way, these are the guys. I put them on the naughty list. They never forgot, blah, blah, blah.
Hey, Corey, that's a good idea.
Thank you.
That's pretty good.
I like that
Nice.
idea
like
actually a lot.
because everything surrounding it is great. Zooey Deschanel.
Like if they're
has-
looking at a map, what's this area? Stay out of this. Central
It's just
Park.
like a red skull.
And he can even say it
It's
like
the
I put some people
It's
who
the
are on the naughty
Mufasa
list
fucking
there.
thing, you know? Just be like, we never go to the shop,
yeah.
whatever.
But
But
it's
like,
just this joke that kind of runs through.
And they
a
could
little
even do
bit.
that, like, buddy, what are you doing here? I told you not to come here. And he's like, oh, and he's like, but I'm glad you're here, kind of thing.
It could have been a joke on the date where she's like, "Oh, I want to take you to Central Park," and he's like, "No, we don't go there."
He just like holds onto a street pole.
yeah, and I mean, like those kind of things. And another qualm, and I think it has some bits of Ali's favorite part. I really don't. I think this is me personally. I really don't like end sequences having a lot of news tell you a lot of shit that's happening.
Yeah.
Fair.
Just because I'm just like, with those things of like, this is all the plot you need, Zooey, to get out of your house to go to Central Park. It's like, okay, cool. But then, like, I like the
I'll
joke
agree with
parts.
that.
I like the
joke parts
hey,
made it.
you need a boyfriend who's going to have a ring and shit. Like, those are all great. But I
Yeah.
was like, you're telling almost the whole story. It's like, how, like, and the
News things are very, very often just exposition.
Which
Like,
is
and
why
it's-
he liked
and
the
I can
guy
always-
in that moment so much.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't. He was just like, by the way, your eyes tell the whole story. And that's what I like about you. You got a great mouth. Anyway, the sleigh was coming down from the northwest.
Oh, that was so uncomfortable for
Which,
me.
Yeah.
in a funny way, I think it kind of,
Does he say you have a great smile?
No, he says mouth.
Great
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
mouth.
it's
I-
creepier.
I think it,
Far creepier.
it informed a moment that happened in the greatest Spider-Man movie of all time, Spider-Man 3, when he says, "This seems to be the end of Spider-Man." And it's like,
Spider-Man.
oh, we get it.
Oh, I
we
like-
see it happening.
I do have one of my favorite lines is in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah,
So-
the Stan Lee line.
Yeah.
Of course.
I have
Not in my diagnosis.
But, I mean,
I have another qualm.
yeah, go on.
It's kind of not related, but kind of the same spirit of yours. My suspension of disbelief when it came to James Caan's character, all of a sudden,
Giving a
being-
shit about his kid right during the pitch
like
meeting.
Yeah.
right during there,
Yeah.
like that was
Yeah.
the only time that I was like, I'm an hour and 10 minutes into this film,
And this asshole
this
hasn't
whole
changed.
time you've been a Dick Von Dickington, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, but it's my kid. I mean, here's the thing: it works on me. I'm like, oh yeah, you can,
Hey man, he's just got a lot of
but
work to
it's
do.
one of those moments where I go, that's the one. I wouldn't call it a plot hole, but it's one of those things that I'm like,
It's the leap that's too far.
yeah, where it's like I would have
There
loved
wasn't
to have
enough
seen
of
it.
a
Well,
Yeah,
reason for him to
what
do
I
that.
would add to that is probably like having Michael walk and you see him walk and you have another moment go back to James Caan and then like he's in the elevator and then like he goes back, and then it cuts.
Yeah.
And Michael's
Or
downstairs.
giving some more hints throughout the story that James Caan's character is
turning.
changing.
Softening up.
Because most of the time he's like,
No,
Nah.
fuck off.
yeah.
We'll just
And-
take the kid out of school.
I mean, of course he's not completely like 100% cheery, but
until the very end.
until
yeah.
the very end. But still, it's like
you.
it was just so like
He went like, I gotta do this. This is a pitch. We don't got a job to up yours, bro.
yeah,
Let me pump fist with my son.
yeah.
It's like, God damn. Well, how did that happen?
That's a great
I
impression
think
of
I
James Caan.
missed that part of the movie, but
No.
yeah.
I think that's
That was Hulk Hogan.
Brother.
I would pay to see Buddy with Hulk Hogan and James.
Yeah, 100%.
Minus the racism.
Oh, yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Which, surprisingly, for a 15-year-old movie, this has very little.
Racism?
If any, none, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that surprising.
Well, to me, like, I think the 90s and, like, still are,
Early
you know,
There wasn't a
2000s.
whole lot
And
of
early
racism in the 90s. It was more like
Homosexual-
mild homophobia
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Friends is what you're thinking of.
Probably.
But-
But there's
but
none of this either, right?
There's never like Will Ferrell movies aren't known for that either, though.
yeah,
It's not that surprising, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
yeah.
15 years ago is
For me, anything
much more progressive than you think. You're
Anything-
older than you think.
I know. Anything,
I'd say the only like issue.
That's what it is.
The only like issue that they brought up is with Peter Dinklage's character.
And it's dealt with really
and
well.
it's dealt with perfectly. Where he's
You
like,
feeling
"Oh,
strong?"
You're an elf?
'Cause he beats the shit out of him.
Wow. Yeah.
But like also,
Hardcore.
Buddy doesn't, he doesn't mean it that way.
Yeah,
Like,
not at
he
all.
Seriously, he's like,
Does Santa know you're not in the workshop?
that scene.
Call me an elf again.
Oh my god! Just thinking of
Flips
it from Peter Dinklage, is this asshole coming in and starting a fight with him, and he's just like, and he's like really calm and collected at first. Peter Dinklage's character, like,
but he's also
like-
there to save the company.
yeah,
But also to think of it from Buddies, he's like, oh,
yeah.
like he's totally
friend?
has no idea. Oh,
Oh my
he's an
God.
angry elf.
My only qualm is the same one with you, where the Four Horsemen. I didn't feel fearful. I was like, okay,
Because they didn't really do anything.
I like them. I
Yeah.
like their design, but there was no looming danger. And I'm going to bring it back to, I'm actually going to bring it back to Dark Knight Rises, where before the first fight with Batman, where he breaks his back, you see.
Dark Knight Rises. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I
Oh,
said.
sorry.
You see bits and pieces of him. So by the time they get in
Of
that
Batman.
quote unquote cage together, you're like, fuck.
yeah. You're worried.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Genuinely.
But
Little
the Four
sprinkles.
Horsemen show
'Cause you
up
know
and
what
he,
he's capable
he
of.
does exposition right away. You're kind of like, okay, well, I didn't know who they were before. I'm assuming they won't be very important, regardless of how cool they looked. So for me, like I thought that earlier, which is why I wish he would have sprinkled it earlier
Like-
in. Like,
That makes
don't
sense.
go to
Like-
Saw
Central
them do
Park.
something.
Well, what if it? Well,
Yeah.
also,
Choose
just
someone
if you
else,
want to
maybe.
take them away completely, which I think is sad because I do like them then in there.
Yeah.
If you want to take them away completely, create the same ticking time bomb. Be like, if we don't get this above air at midnight, then all the toys disappear.
Yeah.
Like something like that, where it's like, oh Jesus!
Or even the NYPD hunting for them. In there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Those kind of
anyway,
things.
I think that's my only one.
Oh,
Mine is
not
a little
enough
bit of
Zooey
that
Deschanel.
at the end. Not enough Zooey Deschanel. And also not enough Zooey Deschanel. No, I'm kidding.
I agree.
Josh's thing with James Caan, like, I felt like his character, like
You almost got whiplash. You're just
like he
oh.
bails him out,
Oh.
and then like they go to the doctor, and then the doctor recommends that you introduce him to your family, and then like the next scene, like it's happened.
Michael Corleone needed him.
It's already happened. Like he's already in the house.
What was his kid's name?
My-
Michael.
I guess my argument that I don't mind that is that he's like a
Trying to get it
businessman on a
done.
deadline, and the doctor says he'll go away after because that's what I would do. Then he's like, "Let's fucking do it now because I have shit to take care of."
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess
That's
I
my
didn't
only
get
argument
that
for that.
like
feeling.
yeah, like, as much as I
Yeah,
wanted to.
which
yeah,
is-
yeah.
Like in the
That's fine.
holiday
That's just my spin.
In the holiday
guess.
family moment, it's like you get where the kid's coming from, but where we are, where we pay bills and shit, I'm like, yo, kid, you need to fucking relax. This shit can wait. You know what I'm saying? You want a house to live? You want a house?
I love
Holiday
it.
magic.
You know what else? Tickle fight.
No, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
I
love you.
I like that it.
Okay, good
The
night.
tickle fight did work at the mailroom though.
Yeah,
I'm happy that that came to fruition at least somewhere.
full circle.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love maple syrup.
Yeah,
Qualms.
Qualms.
I do think it's the whiplash with the dad
yeah.
of because I remember watching that scene and being like, I feel like you could pitch it to them in about 30 seconds and then be like, okay, this is the idea for the book. I hope you like it. We're going to talk in like 5 minutes. Okay, bye.
It's a peach and a farm.
Why can't the other two do the pitch?
Yeah, like there could have been so many solutions to that situation rather than being like, fuck you, guy.
Well,
I'm
his
gonna
boss
cool guy
was
walk
also
out of
kind
this.
of a
Hard.
douche.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
he's having a meeting on Christmas Eve.
yeah, no,
does that?
I get that. I understand.
Yeah.
But he also could have been like, hey, secretary, you know all the things I'm about to say. You say them. I'll be back later.
She might not.
Could get him fired.
Meh.
I mean, yeah. I guess that's my only argument for that too. Is that
It was a no-win scenario.
yeah?
I just want to be contrarian to Ollie, where he's like, why couldn't someone else do the sales? If you think about Billy Mays and ShamWow,
Why
you know, I mean,
can't
there's
someone
only
else do the
one
sales?
person.
No one else. No one
But then,
else
you know,
could've done that.
there is the new
Wow.
guy, which is good. But I mean, like, you know, sometimes there's a good salesman.
Billy Mays.
Billy Mays, R.I.P.
Fair.
Alright.
I do want to do one thing. I want to compare your cringe with my cringe. So your cringe was about him being the fish out of water thing.
Yeah.
I had a cringy moment was only when people started singing at the very end. Not Zoe. That's fine.
Everybody else.
But everyone else, I was
It's always
just like,
fine.
I was like-
Really?
to me, it's a little too like everyone's so happy. Like all the
Do you
cuddle.
not like It's a Wonderful Life?
Corey, what have we talked about?
Oh, you haven't seen it.
I have not.
Wow. I've seen something that
Stop
Tom
recording.
hasn't
Yeah.
seen.
Stop recording.
We can't stop recording. This is the best moment of my life.
Call him it. Call him it. Call him it.
Uncultured swine.
Yes.
Cue the Tom sigh.
No. Not myself.
No, because he knows he deserves
Not
it.
on
He
myself.
knows, he knows.
No, but all the cutaways to like in the bar, in the mailroom, all that stuff when they're singing, totally fine. It's when they slowly start singing, I'm like, like I almost
you
want to
can't-
throw up.
You
I
don't
was
like you don't like bad singing.
I think that.
You're talking about like the
Oh,
one by
okay.
one.
Better
Yeah.
not
Well, like,
pout.
okay, let me ask you a question. If you're in a crowd of people at Central Park when there's been a crash, some young
Slow
lady,
clap, Disney clap.
some lady starts singing on a
No, Tom.
some lady starts singing on a sleigh, Christmas songs. Would you just jump in full force, or would there be like one or two other people who join in first, and then you're like, okay, maybe I will, and then you notice a few more, and then you're like,
Like, okay,
all right,
this
if
is socially
everyone's doing
acceptable.
it,
Okay,
I'm
hold
gonna
on.
do it.
You are sanitizing it in like a dental office where it's
Sanitizing
all
it?
clean. Yeah, well, this is in New York. This is fucking the news is on, and she's up there, and it's Zooey Deschanel. I'm like, I'm gonna go up
asking
there
you-
with her. You know what
No,
I'm
it's
saying?
not Zooey Deschanel. It's not Zooey
But it
Deschanel.
is in this movie. I'm
But
kidding.
it's not.
It's Jovi.
Jovi.
It's some random
It's
You
just
girl.
smell like the
random,
top ramen I have in my
beautiful,
place. I'm gonna go up
gorgeous,
there.
Amazing.
Yeah, face is so beautiful could be on a Christmas card. But like, do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. No, I get it. I 100% get it. To
Even
me,
as a singer, I'd be like,
oh yeah,
I'll
no.
wait if someone else sings first.
I will say this for the record. No way my cringe, like the cringe feeling I have is fucking like justified at all.
Right.
I'm just saying that's what I got from it.
Got
That's
it.
why I was comparing her unjustified cringe as, compared to my
Oh.
unjustified.
My unjustified
Unjustified
cringe.
Wow.
You heard it here, folks.
Wow. Okay, Tom.
Says the guy who hasn't seen It's a Wonderful Life.
Ha! First off, yes.
I love
Ha.
that. That was another one of my favorite scenes. Was like just remembered when he goes back up to the secretary the second time and he's like, "Hi."
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And she's like, hello.
You remember me?
I just remembered a line that caught me so off guard watching it the second time around. When he first is coming into the office
As the
to meet his
Christmas
dad.
gram?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's talking on the phone. Do you remember what she says?
That was going to be one of my favorite.
She says,
things. Oh my
I've
God,
never
what is it?
declawed a cat before.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many are
9.
there?
Yeah, yeah.
And then she goes, 8. I don't know if I'm going to have time. Oh, bring him over. I'll do the
Bring
best
him
I can. I'm like, no. No, a kitten. I've never declawed
Yeah,
a kitten,
kitten.
before.
And it was
How many
also
are there?
like
8. 8.
bring him to the trailer
Yeah.
is also what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
It caught me so off guard. And she is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on her name right now.
This is kind of going into
uh,
our gush moment, but then after this we'll do rate. But I do want to say one moment.
One moment.
When fucking Buddy discovered aimbot and auto reload fucking
yeah.
snowballs. I was like,
Oh my
this is some
God.
bullshit. This is some fucking FPS bullshit.
That was amazing.
Amy Sedaris.
Oh,
His
yeah.
brother is David Sedaris, who's a phenomenal writer, by the way. But she is funny in everything she does.
Nice.
I believe she did Strangers with Candy.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway,
I wanted to comment on my particular brand of cringe that Tom shat all over just now.
I didn't shed all over it. I just said both of ours live in the same place.
Right, and then you insulted it, but that's fine.
You're about to insult his, right?
No, not really.
Okay.
I was actually just gonna explain a little further of like, because there are different types of cringe, and for this movie, the fish out of water, like the more I'm thinking about it, it's less that he is so out of his element, and more that like I'm feeling for the people who are in that normal scenario that are like very off-put by his fish out of water.
Is that like almost pet peeve? Almost not cringe?
No, I know what she's getting at.
It's still cringe because it's more of like, and I was hoping we could hold hands, and he goes in for it, and it's like, oh, please don't, please do not do that right now. Like
Exact context. It's like a random stranger.
a random stranger who's like, I'm related to you. Let's hold hands now. I love you. Like I would be very off-put by that a lot.
is.
And that's I think my cringe is coming more from
Baggage. You're putting yourself in that situation.
I'm putting it's 100% baggage cringe. Like
Yeah.
I'm putting myself in the situation of the
like
people.
what I said when I said mine was unjustified. Crazy.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
But yeah, that's more of it because of like walking past the window where he's inside and he's like, Dad, and there are all the other people around. They're just like, oh my Jesus,
well,
what
if
is
he had a little more
happening?
Christmas cheer, his son wouldn't have to sleep in a window.
You're right.
True facts.
Very true.
True facts. True facts.
True.
Well,
True.
Could sleep in a bed.
I think
and
that
give
brings
tickle
us
fights.
to
Yeah.
the rating.
The rating. Ba-ba-ba.
Every segment of our show is gonna have a song. With
Someday, if you're listening and you're a composer and you want to, I don't know, put together some themes, please
Feel free.
do
We're
it.
gonna have a soundboard and we'll use them inappropriately all the time.
Yeah.
Soundboard. Pew, pew, pew.
So everyone has
get to the chopper.
everyone has one vote. Everyone has one vote on them.
It's
Yeah.
true. So Tom goes first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine's 3.8.
3.8.
Wow.
I think it's very good. I don't know if it's a masterpiece.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
Your 4.0 is a masterpiece.
4.0 to me is in the echelon of those.
Yeah.
Got it.
4.0 he's always said is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
5 is you wouldn't change anything.
5 is also Corey Must Suck, the director's day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Looking
yeah,
at
that's
you,
right.
Fight Club.
That was established a long time ago.
So mine
So, John Hughes.
is going to be a 4.5
4.5.
because there are a handful of Christmas movies that I enjoy more than this and gravitate towards as my family's classics. But giving credit due where credit's due. Will
Yeah.
Ferrell being hilarious.
Where's credit gonna go?
It's due, and creating a classic to add to that people add to their every year list is impressive to me. And love me some Jon Favreau.
I guess I should explain why mine's 3.8.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah,
I would love that.
Everything.
I was waiting, but you just
Sorry.
passed it to me. So
I think, and I've talked to Corey about this. Will Ferrell is not my cup of tea sometimes.
yeah,
So everything he does is great. Everything he says, I'm not so great about.
you're not so great about.
I'm like, it doesn't wow me. Everyone else kind of wows me.
Yeah,
And everything else, the story, the direction, the way it's shot like, crossbreed between a Hallmark but also a feature-length film.
yeah.
But yeah, like Will Ferrell's actions and all that stuff that he does, great. But like sometimes the overly childlike thing, it just like throws me off.
God.
Not
Really?
out. I'm still in the movie, but I'm just like,
Not your cup of tea.
I don't like that stuff. But I mean, I still enjoy it. And so I'm like, I can watch it. It'll be fine. But like all the parts where he gets hit or he gets hurt or he does something, I'm like, those are to me the funny parts.
Yeah.
yeah.
You like inflicting pain on other people. We get it.
All right, Jojo.
And myself.
Oh.
I of the same.
For sexual reasons only. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. That's way more palatable
Mine's
than what
for
I was
seasonal
thinking.
reasons.
Yeah. I'm of the same. It is a 4.5.
Yeah.
For me, there are a few things plot wise that I would change in terms of making it congeal, so to speak. But it is a movie that I wouldn't change much. And I can watch.
For 9 hours at a time.
Jesus.
Challenge accepted and done.
Yeah.
Secret quest complete.
Yes. No, it's for me personally, because I have the attention span of a gnat sometimes.
Same.
Having something that I can watch multiple times in a row
Yeah.
Means a lot.
And like
Means a
still,
lot
Like
to me.
we're still finding things in it. Like I
Yeah.
never heard that
Yeah.
declawing line before.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wait,
amazing.
what?
I think I heard it, but it
Yeah,
never
she says bring it by the camper.
It never
Yeah,
registered.
camper.
it never registered like, oh,
Oh no.
or hearing the newscaster.
I'm just
talk
gonna
to-
try it. 8
Yeah.
kittens. Let me see what I can do.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Jesus.
So yeah, 4.5.
Ugh.
Ollie Ollie smocks and free.
For me, it's a 4.2.
Ooh.
That was close.
I think it's one of the like best like Will Ferrell comedies, and
Agreed.
and there's and it's bolstered into the fours with the holiday theme. for
Yeah.
me. Like that's what makes it
Agreed.
a higher score.
Cool.
Wow.
Caitlin.
Agreed.
And Zooey Deschanel.
Agreed.
That's
I was waiting for that. I was actually gonna call you out in a sec.
Yeah.
Is that 0.2 higher?
0.2 higher for Zooey Deschanel.
Blonde Zooey Deschanel.
Yeah.
I'll be
about
okay
it.
with it.
I'm
It's not
about
my
it.
Okay.
favorite, but
When they do that bad jump cut to her, and I'm like, she's the angel.
my favorite Zoe era is
Yeah.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to
The
talk about that movie.
era of the Z.
We gotta do it.
I would say for me,
it's a 4.
it's a yeah. Yep. It's a
I'm the lowest one. Let's go.
0.7
4.7.
wow.
Highest score.
because I was entertained. I could watch this again and still find new things and laugh at it. Did it need some work? Yes, but I was entertained and like a 0.1 off for cringe.
Yeah.
I will say I have some points up because of James Caan.
Yeah.
Sonny Corleone.
For life.
Life.
It
Good
is-
job, guys. We did it.
Yeah.
We did it.
We did it.
Who's Tom's a grump?
I'm
Happy
the grump.
15 years,
Tom's the
to
grump.
Elf.
You're an
Yay.
elf for
You're an elf.
15 years.
Yeah.
15.
At 30 years old, forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Forever.
Forever. I think we gushed like almost the entire episode.
Yeah.
Pretty
it
much.
was a lot of
It's a gr-
gushing.
and also, I wanted to give a little
But here's
shout
some
out.
more gush.
Here's some more gush because in the beginning I really
But
liked
wait, there's more.
the
back.
watercolor and
Yeah.
like the book pages in the
Oh,
very
yeah.
beginning. Like it's hi Corey, you have a pinky in
no,
there.
this
What's
is
up?
what I do. No, you're not supposed to acknowledge it. This is
Oh,
what I do
shit.
so I remember, but I don't interrupt.
Oh well, I have now interrupted
Well,
myself.
now your turn's gone.
Yeah.
Corey, go ahead.
Fun fact that I'd like to share that now makes me laugh at this part even harder. When he is deferred to the Jack in the Box opening. His
Oh,
jumps,
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what this? His
Yes.
jumps are real because Jon Favreau sat off camera with a little clicker that would make them go out. He didn't know when they would go off. And he would just sit there and click.
That's
go.
hilarious.
I would also say in terms of the filmmaking, I'm glad that it came back at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And also, I'll say just in terms of like theming and well made characterization, you really do feel like it's really weird when Buddy's not in his elf suit.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, oh,
It's
oh,
he's
very
not
jarring.
suit.
I'm like,
Stop it.
Get the fuck out of that. suit.
Normal
But
people
also,
clothes, very
but
upsetting.
also, I love that beige on beige that James Caan. I was like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
that's good though.
for matching.
One quick moment that I don't know why, just it makes me laugh every time is when the animated characters are kind of saying goodbye to him and all of a sudden the narwhal comes up.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Bye, buddy." It's just like,
And also that
Bye,
all
Mr.
the
Narwhal.
other animals are
Fear it.
terrified.
yeah.
And that the narwhal might eat them.
Yeah.
But Buddy's safe.
Well, it's an
Yeah, Buddy's
underwater
fine.
unicorn, of course.
Yeah. But yeah, so good.
Crying and yelling that Arctic Puffin line. Not now, Arctic Puffin.
Oh, the raccoon part.
Oh yeah, I didn't even bring that up.
I was going to say.
When he hugs a raccoon in Central Park.
Someone
Oh
needs
my God.
hugged.
Someone needs a hug.
Thank you, everybody at home, for listening to our antics. Oh my gosh, what just happened?
Just the raccoon part. Just hugging a
came
feral
back.
raccoon. In
It
Central
came back.
Park.
It came.
The raccoon always makes
He
its
thought
way
he
in.
was done with the raccoon, but the raccoon came back for seconds.
You're never done with a trash
Yeah,
panda.
because after it hisses at him, which makes me jump every time, because it's like this kind of thing, and then he goes back.
Goes in again. Be like, oh,
And it's that classic physical comedy that you know that it's just like a stuffed
Oh,
animal, and it's
man.
like, ah!
I'm sorry, guys. That just caught me. Go ahead.
fine.
Patrons over at Patreon.
Well, thank you for everybody for listening to our antics. All you raccoons at home, you know who you are.
All levels of raccoon are welcome.
Thank you to our patrons for listening, for supporting us. I mean, honestly, thank you. Just thank you for listening. We're past the gratitude part of the what is the year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Seasons, the
Yeah.
holiday seasons. We are now into Christmas. Bonnie and I call it Crima.
Crim.
I call
It's
it
Crima time.
I call it Crimbus.
Crimbus?
I
Yeah,
do as well, actually.
Crimbus?
Crimbus.
You know where I
Crimbus.
got that from?
Where?
Tim and Eric. Anyway, continue.
I think that's a good place to stop it.
Yeah, yeah.
On that, Corey, you know the drill. As always,
Nerd on.
Ending broadcast.